The power of no explanation. Leave quietly, no explanations, no complaints. In a world full of noise, where everything seems to demand justification or explanation, choosing silence, leaving without complaints or explanations is an extraordinary strength. You don't owe anyone your story, nor do you need to defend your decisions or boundaries. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. This is the power of no explanation. Have you ever felt pressured to explain yourself? To justify a decision, soften someone's reaction, or seek validation? The truth is, when you look for validation through explanations, you deplete your own energy. The more you explain, the more you relinquish control over your life. But when you walk away quietly, without complaints or explanations, you reclaim your power and move forward with clarity and confidence. Complaints and explanations tie you to the past. They trap you in cycles of frustration and emotional pain. Yet, when you let go of the need to be understood or accepted, you free yourself. You realize that peace doesn't come from external approval, but from within. Without the need to justify yourself, you are liberated, and in that freedom lies your true strength. There are moments in life when leaving is the best choice, when you are in a toxic relationship, a meaningless job, or situations that drain you. In such moments, leaving without complaints is not a sign of weakness, but of self-respect and confidence. Complaints only fuel negativity, and explanations often pacify others at the cost of your own peace. By choosing to leave quietly, you protect your peace and focus on what truly matters. Imagine a tree that never explains why it sheds its leaves. It simply does, naturally and gracefully. You can do the same. Learn to establish boundaries, value yourself, and choose what is worth your energy. The power of no explanation is not just a skill. It is a reflection of self-respect, wisdom, and strength. It's an art you can master, a tool that helps you become a stronger, healthier version of yourself. Are you ready to embrace the power of silence and take back control of your life? This journey begins here, in silence, in strength, and within yourself. Chapter 1. Asserting your boundaries with silence. Respect is an abstract yet powerful concept. Often it remains silent, yet it's the cornerstone of healthy relationships. It's not always about grand gestures or eloquent speeches. Sometimes it's about the strength in your silence. The power to say no without explanation, to establish your boundaries firmly, can be an empowering form of self-respect. You've probably been in situations where you felt the need to justify your decisions or actions. But remember, you're not obligated to explain yourself every time you assert your boundaries. It's okay to say no, to choose your peace, without giving a detailed account of why. This doesn't mean you're disrespectful or inconsiderate. On the contrary, it shows that you value your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Silence can serve as an effective tool for asserting your boundaries. It eliminates the unnecessary stress of justifying your choices and fosters a sense of self-worth. By choosing silence, you reinforce to yourself and others that your boundaries are non-negotiable. Embrace this practice, not as a way to shut others out, but as a strategy to uphold your self-respect. Understanding and accepting that you don't owe anyone an explanation is liberating. It's a stepping stone towards building healthier relationships with others and, most importantly, with yourself. Chapter 2. Avoiding unnecessary explanations. Taking a closer look at the concept of avoiding unnecessary explanations, it's evident how this ties in with our previous discussion on asserting boundaries through silence. You've mastered the art of quiet withdrawal, but what happens when you're pushed for an explanation? The key is to understand that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your actions, especially if they revolve around preserving your peace and well-being. This doesn't mean you should adopt a dismissive attitude, but rather learn the art of discernment. Not all situations warrant an explanation. Recognize when it's beneficial to explain yourself and when it's better to stay silent. The constant need to explain yourself stems from an inherent desire to be understood and accepted. However, this can sometimes lead to over-explaining, which can leave you feeling drained and misunderstood. Let's face it, you can't control how others perceive your actions. No amount of explanation will change someone's rigid mindset, so why waste energy trying? Instead, channel that energy into actions that serve your growth. Remember, No one has the right to demand an explanation for your choices. You're not accountable to anyone but yourself. Stand firm in your decisions and trust your instincts. While it may seem intimidating at first, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. In a nutshell, avoiding unnecessary explanations is about respecting your time and energy. It's about standing your ground and recognizing that your actions, decisions, and choices are valid, regardless of whether they're understood by others. Chapter 3: Diffusing Confrontational Situations. In the heat of confrontation, remaining calm is vital. It's not about winning the argument, but finding common ground. When tensions rise, you're challenged not just by the words thrown at you, but also by the emotions bubbling within yourself. Remember, it's imperative to control that inner turmoil and not let it dictate your responses. Let's break it down. Listen, really listen, not just to respond, but to understand. It's easy to get caught up in your own point of view, often ignoring the other person's perspective. By genuinely listening, you're showing respect, and that alone can diffuse a good chunk of the tension. Use validating statements. Acknowledge their feelings and perspective. You don't have to agree, but by showing that their viewpoint matters, you're building bridges, not walls. Say things like, "I see where you're coming from," or "That's a valid point." Maintain non-confrontational body language. Avoid crossing your arms, maintain eye contact, and keep your voice steady. Your body language speaks volumes about your intentions, often more than your words do. Know when to bow out. Sometimes the best way to diffuse a confrontational situation is to leave it. You're not running away. You're choosing peace over conflict. Remember, you don't always need to have the last word. It's okay to leave quietly, with no complaints and no explanations. Chapter 4: Preserving your emotional energy. Leaving a confrontation without giving an explanation might feel like a loss, but it's a win for your emotional health. This strategy isn't about avoiding resolution or escaping responsibility. It's about preserving your emotional energy. You see, not every battle is worth fighting, and not every discussion deserves your time or energy. Your emotional energy is precious. It fuels your motivation, creativity, and joy. When you get caught up in pointless confrontations, you're depleting this essential resource. But when you choose to exit without explaining, you're conserving that energy for things that truly matter. It's not about being dismissive, it's about being discerning. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine you're a runner in a marathon. Would you stop at every heckler along the route to explain your running technique? Of course not. You preserve your energy for the race. Life is your marathon, and confrontations are often just distractions along the route. Chapter 5: Prioritizing Personal Discretion. Just as you prioritize your physical health and emotional energy, it's crucial to also prioritize discretion in your personal interactions. Sometimes it's not about what you say, but how you say it. And at other times, it's about what you choose not to say at all. Your words have power, and using them judiciously can save you a lot of unnecessary stress and conflict. Think of personal discretion as a shield that protects your well-being. It's not about being secretive or evasive. Rather, it's about choosing your battles wisely and not wasting your energy on futile arguments or explanations. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your actions and decisions, especially when they're made for your own peace of mind. Now, this doesn't mean you should disregard the feelings or opinions of others. It simply means you're placing your emotional health and peace of mind above the need to justify your actions. It's about creating healthy boundaries and not letting anyone cross them without your permission. Chapter 6: Maintaining Composure Under Pressure. Countless situations will test your calmness, pushing you to the brink of losing control. It's as if the universe conspires to shake your peace, right? Yet, it's vital to remain composed, not letting pressure dictate your actions. Why? Because when you're under pressure, you're prone to make hasty decisions, lash out, and let your emotions rule over rationality. Remember, you're the master of your reactions. So, how do you maintain composure? Acknowledge the pressure. It's there, it's real, and it's impacting you. Acknowledging it doesn't mean giving in to it. You're simply recognizing its existence, which is the first step to managing it effectively. Breathe. It might sound cliché, but it works wonders. Deep, slow breaths can help calm your mind, allowing you to think clearly and maintain your composure. Step back. Take a brief moment to distance yourself from the situation. You'll gain perspective, see the bigger picture, and be better able to keep your cool. Remember your values. What really matters to you? What is your end goal? Keeping these in mind will help you stay focused and composed regardless of the pressure you're under. Maintaining your composure under pressure isn't easy, but it's crucial. It's a skill you can learn and, with practice, master. So next time you find yourself under pressure, remember these tips. Take control of the situation rather than letting it control you. Chapter 7. Choosing your battles wisely. Traversing through life's complexities isn't just about keeping your cool under pressure. It's also about picking the right battles to fight. Not every disagreement needs a dialogue. Not every injustice needs your direct intervention. You've got to learn to choose your battles wisely. Think of your energy as a precious resource. It's finite. Every time you engage in a conflict, you're spending a bit of that resource. Now ask yourself, is the issue at hand worth the expenditure? If it's something that deeply affects your values, your relationships, or your well-being, it might be. But if it's a trivial matter that won't matter in the long run, it's perhaps better to conserve your energy. That's not to say you should become a doormat. No, it's about learning to distinguish between what's important and what's not. It's about knowing that sometimes silence can speak louder than words. It's about realizing that walking away from a conflict doesn't equate to losing, but can be an act of winning. Winning back your peace, your time, and your energy. Choosing your battles wisely is a skill that takes practice. It requires patience, self-awareness, and strength. But once you master it, it can be a powerful tool in charting the complexities of life. Remember, it's not about the number of battles you fight, but the ones you choose to fight that truly define your strength. Chapter 8. Cultivating the Art of Subtlety. Have you ever pondered the subtle art of statement? It's more than just being quiet or reserved. It's a skill, an art form, if you will, that you can cultivate. It's about saying less but meaning more. It's important to understand that subtlety doesn't equate to weakness or passivity. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's a strength. It's about conveying your thoughts, feelings, and intentions without causing unnecessary friction or conflict. Imagine being able to communicate your point convincingly without having to raise your voice or resort to harsh words. Wouldn't that be powerful? Now, this doesn't mean you just turn a blind eye to injustice or allow others to walk over you. No, it's about picking your battles wisely, and when you do engage, you do it with dignity and respect. But how do you cultivate this art of subtlety? Start by listening more than you talk. Pay attention to your tone, your body language, and your choice of words. Practice empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Understand their perspective and feelings. This will help you communicate more effectively without having to resort to unnecessary confrontations or explanations. Chapter 9. Navigating Sensitive Conversations. Stepping into a sensitive conversation might feel like walking on eggshells. It's a delicate dance, balancing honesty with tact. But here's the good news. You're not alone. Many struggle with this, and it's a skill that can be honed with practice and attention. Imagine if you could navigate these discussions with grace and poise, leaving both parties feeling heard and respected. It's not as far-fetched as you might think. Start by listening more than you talk. People are more likely to open up when they feel heard and understood. Remember, it's not about winning or being right, but about reaching an understanding. Next, choose your words carefully. Avoid blaming language and instead use I statements to express your feelings. This helps prevent the other person from feeling attacked, which can escalate the conversation into conflict. Lastly, know when to step away. If the conversation becomes too heated, it's okay to take a break. This isn't an admission of defeat, but rather a necessary step to safeguard the conversation's productivity. Navigating sensitive conversations isn't easy, but it's a vital part of maintaining healthy relationships. So take a deep breath and remember, it's not about perfection, but progress. You've got this. And with each conversation, you're building a better, more empathetic you. Chapter 10. Reclaiming your time and focus. In the midst of life's hustle and bustle, it's easy to lose sight of how you're spending your time and where your focus lies. You're juggling responsibilities, tasks, and social interactions, often leaving you feeling overwhelmed and spread thin. It's during these moments that it's vital to remember the power of no explanation. The first step towards reclaiming your time and focus is acknowledging that you've been ceding them to others. You're not a machine, nor are you expected to be. It's okay to feel tired, it's okay to feel drained, and it's okay to want a breather. You don't owe anyone an explanation for wanting to prioritize yourself. Next, identify what you're investing your time and energy in. Are these things worth it? Are they draining or fulfilling? Do they align with your goals, values, and priorities? If not, it's time to reassess. Once you've identified where your time and focus are misaligned, it's crucial to make a change. This doesn't mean you have to quit your job or end relationships. It means finding balance and setting boundaries. It's about saying no when you need to and not feeling guilty about it. Each time you decline an unnecessary demand, you are saying yes to yourself, to your peace and personal growth. You are prioritizing what truly matters. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation for wanting to take time for yourself. Chapter 11. Mastering the Graceful Exit. Mastering the art of a graceful exit is like perfecting a fine dance. Every step is a calculated move, set to the rhythm of respect and compassion, and every gesture is a silent communication of your intentions. It's not about making a grand exit, but about leaving with grace, integrity, and dignity. You've probably been in situations where you felt trapped, whether in a conversation, meeting, or social gathering. You felt the urge to escape, but were unsure how to do so without coming off as rude or dismissive. Here's the thing, you have the power to leave any situation that doesn't serve you without offering detailed explanations or apologies. It's about setting boundaries and respecting your own time and energy. To master the graceful exit, recognize when it's time to leave. You'll feel a subtle shift, a quiet nudge telling you it's time to move on. Listen to it. Don't ignore it. Prepare a simple, respectful statement. It could be as straightforward as, "I need to go now," or "I've got to catch up on some things." Remember, you're not seeking validation or approval, you're simply stating your need. Chapter 12. Bypassing Potential Misunderstandings. Steering through potential misunderstandings, you may find yourself treading a delicate path. It's as if you're dancing on a tightrope where one wrong step might lead to miscommunication, confusion, and unwanted conflict. But you're not alone in this. We've all been there, and it's part of the process that comes with mastering the power of no explanation. Now, you might be asking, how can I avoid this? How can I make my silence clear and not cause any misunderstandings? The answer lies in your demeanor, your body language, and your consistency. It doesn't mean you have to be cold or unresponsive. On the contrary, be warm and respectful, but also firm. The key is to remain steadfast in your decision. Don't give mixed signals. If you've decided you won't explain yourself, stick to it. There's a certain power and consistency that makes your actions speak louder than your words. In this journey, you'll face challenges. People might question your silence, misinterpret your intentions, but remember, there's no need to justify your actions. You can acknowledge their confusion, but don't let it dictate your actions. Nod politely, smile, and move on. It's a delicate art, a dance of diplomacy. But with practice, you'll become adept at it. And when you do, you'll realize that your actions are indeed louder than words, and your silent exit, void of complaints and explanations, speaks volumes. Through this, you bypass potential misunderstandings and leave quietly, with dignity and grace. Chapter 13. Fostering respectful relationships. Building respectful relationships is an essential aspect of maintaining your peace of mind. It's not just about getting along with others. It's about creating a network of people around you who value your contribution and respect your boundaries. This doesn't mean everyone will always agree with you, but it does mean that they'll respect your right to your opinions and feelings. To foster such relationships, start by showing respect for others. When you genuinely value the thoughts, feelings, and experiences of those around you, they're likely to reciprocate. Remember, respect isn't just about the big things, it's about the little things too. A kind word, a listening ear, or a thoughtful action can go a long way. Secondly, stand your ground gently but firmly. If someone crosses a boundary, let them know. You've got the right to your personal space, to express your feelings, and to request respect. This isn't about being confrontational, it's about asserting your worth. Lastly, model the behavior you desire. If you want respect, give respect. If you want kindness, show kindness. People often mirror the behavior they see. By setting a high standard, you're not only demanding respect from others, you're also teaching them how to give it. Chapter 14. Responding to unreasonable demands. Life often throws curveballs in the form of unreasonable demands from others. Whether it's a boss asking you to work overtime without pay, a friend needing you to drop everything for them, or a family member expecting you to fulfill their every wish, we've all been there. It's exhausting, frustrating, and downright unfair. But remember, you've got this. You're not obliged to meet every demand thrown your way. It's vital to understand that saying no doesn't make you selfish or unkind. It's about setting boundaries and respecting your own time, energy, and well-being. It's about saying yes to yourself. When confronted with an unreasonable demand, take a step back. Don't react impulsively. Breathe. Analyze the situation. Ask yourself, is this reasonable? Is it fair? Does it respect my boundaries? If the answer is no, then you have every right to decline. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation. You might feel compelled to justify your decision, but that's not necessary. Your no is enough. It's powerful. Stick to it. Responding to unreasonable demands can be a challenge, but it's an opportunity for growth. It's a chance to stand up for yourself, prioritize your needs, and assert your worth. Let your no be a declaration of your strength and self-respect. After all, you're not just a demand fulfiller. You're an individual with needs and rights. You matter, and so does your no. Chapter 15. Fostering self-empowerment through silence. Having navigated through the tumultuous waters of unreasonable demands, your newfound power in the word no sets the stage for another important aspect of self-empowerment: embracing silence. This isn't about ignoring or suppressing your emotions. It's about cultivating a space where you can reflect, understand, and grow. Silence, you see, isn't passive. It's a dynamic, active process. It's choosing not to engage in fruitless debates or pointless arguments. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to let others dictate your value. It's a conscious decision to prioritize your peace and mental health. However, the act of silence can sometimes be misconstrued. You might worry that others will see it as a sign of weakness, or that they'll mistake your silence for ignorance. Here's where you need to remember: what others think of you is not your concern. Your journey is about you and you alone. And what a powerful tool silence is. It allows you time to think, to reassess, and most importantly, to listen. Often we're so busy trying to make our point that we forget the importance of truly hearing and understanding others. Silence gives you that opportunity. In the end, fostering self-empowerment through silence is about finding balance. It's about knowing when to speak up, when to say no, and when to simply stay silent. It's about taking control of your narrative and deciding who gets to influence it. Remember, your voice is powerful. Use it wisely. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Chapter 16. Avoiding unnecessary justifications. In the domain of self-empowerment, one of the most liberating skills you can harness is the ability to avoid unnecessary justifications. This might seem challenging, especially in a world where you're constantly expected to explain yourself. Nonetheless, it's not only possible, but also deeply rewarding. You see, justifications are often born out of a pressing need for approval. You want to be accepted, understood, or validated. But here's the thing: you don't owe anyone an explanation for your actions, particularly if they align with your values and don't harm others. You're your own person, unique and capable of making decisions that are right for you. Consider this: every time you justify, you give away a piece of your power. You inadvertently place your self-worth in someone else's hands. It's unnecessary, isn't it? You don't need anyone else's seal of approval. You're enough just as you are. Imagine the freedom you'll feel when you stop justifying unnecessarily. The mental energy saved, the self-respect gained, the empowerment embraced. It's a magnificent feeling, isn't it? You can get there. Start small. The next time you feel the urge to justify, pause. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Am I seeking approval? Can I simply say no? Avoiding unnecessary justifications is a journey, not a destination. It's about embracing your worth and standing in your power. It's about saying, this is me, no justifications needed. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. You're brave, you're worthy, and you can master the power of no explanation. Chapter 17. Building Trust Through Discretion. Without a doubt, traversing the path of discretion can substantially bolster the trust others place in you. It's not always about having the loudest voice or the sharpest wit. Sometimes it's about knowing when to stay quiet, when to voice your opinion, and how to do so respectfully. It's about understanding that your words and actions have consequences, and that discretion is the key to maintaining trust and respect. You see, every interaction you have with others is an opportunity to build or erode trust. It's vital to remember that trust isn't something you're entitled to, it's something you earn. One of the most effective ways to earn it is through discretion. Think about it. Aren't you more likely to trust someone who respects your privacy, who doesn't gossip, and who understands the importance of confidentiality? Of course you are. We're all human, and we all appreciate being treated with respect and understanding. Chapter 18. Maintaining Professionalism in the Workplace. Embracing professionalism in the workplace is a crucial step in building a successful career. It's not just about knowing your job well, but about how you communicate, interact, and present yourself. You're not just representing yourself, you're representing the company as well. Let's consider punctuality. It's a simple yet powerful demonstration of respect for others' time. When you're consistently on time, you're saying, "I value your time as much as my own." It's a sign of reliability, and that's a trait every employer treasures. Dress appropriately. Yes, clothes don't make the person, but they do contribute to the first impression. Dressing well shows respect for the workplace and the people in it. It's not about expensive brands, it's about neat, clean, and suitable attire. Now, onto communication. It's key in any professional setting. Be clear, concise, and respectful. Remember, it's not what you say, but how you say it. Be mindful of your tone and body language. They're as important as the words you use. Lastly, don't forget about ethics. Maintain confidentiality, avoid office gossip, and respect boundaries. You're there to work, not create drama. Remember, your actions speak louder than words. They reveal your character and can either elevate or tarnish your professional image. In essence, professionalism isn't just a set of rules, it's a mindset, a commitment to excellence, respect, and integrity. So embrace it, and you'll see how it elevates your career and your relationships at work. Chapter 19. Preserving your dignity in conflict. Sometimes, conflict feels inevitable, doesn't it? You're traversing through life and boom, disagreements occur. It's not the conflict itself that's the issue, but how you handle it. Preserving your dignity in conflict is about staying true to yourself, not getting swept up in the heat of the moment. Think of it this way. Each time you encounter conflict, imagine you're on a stage. The spotlight's on you, and the world's watching. How do you want to be seen, losing your cool, or standing tall with grace? The choice lies within you. The key to preserving your dignity is not to allow the conflict to change your character. It's easy to get defensive, to lash out, or to cave under pressure. But remember, you're in control. You choose how to react when conflict arises. Take a deep breath, step back, assess the situation, and respond in a way that aligns with your values. Be assertive, not aggressive. Convey your feelings without blame. Listen to the other side, empathize with their perspective, and when it's all said and done, leave quietly. No complaints, no explanations. You've stated your case, stood your ground, and now it's time to move on. You don't owe anyone a heated debate or a drawn-out argument. Preserving your dignity in conflict doesn't mean winning. It means knowing who you are, what you stand for, and refusing to let conflict tarnish your character. It's about maintaining respect for yourself and others, no matter what. And that, my friend, is the power of no explanation. Chapter 20. Cultivating Emotional Intelligence. Maintaining your dignity in conflict, as we've explored, involves a quiet strength that needs no explanation. This silent power, however, is rooted in emotional intelligence, EI. It's not merely about being stoic, it's about understanding and managing your emotions and those of others. Cultivating EI is a journey of self-discovery, and you're the brave explorer. Be honest with yourself. Understand what triggers your emotional responses. Is it a particular person, situation, or word? Analyze these triggers. What emotions do they evoke? Anger, sadness, fear? It's time to dissect these emotions, understand them, and control them, not to suppress them. Next, develop empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Understanding other people's emotions is just as vital as understanding your own. This doesn't mean you need to agree with them or sympathize with their actions. Rather, it's about acknowledging their emotions as valid. Furthermore, communication is key. Expressing your feelings appropriately is a skill that EI helps you master. It's not about being passive or aggressive, but assertive. You have the right to express your feelings, but so do others. Chapter 21. Establishing healthy boundaries. While understanding and managing emotions is fundamental, it's equally crucial to establish healthy boundaries. You've got to know where you end and where others begin. It's not as easy as it sounds, but it's imperative for your emotional health and overall well-being. Setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about creating space for genuine interactions while protecting your mental peace. It's about saying no without giving explanations, without guilt, and without fear of judgment. It's about knowing your worth and not letting anyone, even yourself, undervalue you. Think of it this way. Your life is a house, and your boundaries are the fence. Without a fence, anyone can walk in and out, trample your grass, and ruin your garden. With a fence, you decide who enters, when, and how. You're in control. You're not being rude or selfish, you're being wise. So how do you establish these boundaries? Start by identifying your emotional, physical, and mental limits. What makes you uncomfortable? What drains you? Once you know, communicate it clearly. Be firm but kind. Remember, it's not about pushing people away, it's about drawing a respectful line. And here's the kicker. Honor your boundaries. If you don't respect them, why would anyone else? It's a journey, not a switch. It takes time, patience, and practice. It's hard, it's uncomfortable. But it's worth it, because when you establish healthy boundaries, you invest in yourself. You become a better, stronger, happier you. You thrive. Chapter 22. Navigating complex social dynamics. Traversing the labyrinth of social dynamics can feel overwhelming, yet it's an essential aspect of our lives. You're not alone in this struggle. Everyone you meet is trying to navigate this same complex maze. The key lies in understanding people's motivations, desires, and fears. Imagine each social interaction as a dance. It's harmonious when everyone knows the steps, but misunderstandings and conflicts arise when the rhythm is off. Your task is to learn to read these rhythms and adapt accordingly. It's not about being a people pleaser, but about fostering mutual respect and understanding. Now, the concept of leaving quietly is vital here. It's about knowing when to withdraw from a situation that's no longer serving your best interests, without causing unnecessary drama. This doesn't mean you're running away. Instead, you're making a strategic choice to protect your well-being. You can't control others, but you can control your reactions. Learn to detach from situations that drain you. Take a step back, assess, and then decide the best course of action. You're not obliged to respond to every provocation, nor explain your every action. Chapter 23. Developing resilience and confidence. Building resilience and confidence is like constructing a fortress for your mental well-being. It's a process that requires effort, patience, and a solid foundation. But don't despair, you're more capable than you think. First, you need to understand that setbacks are not failures, they're lessons. Life will throw curveballs your way, but instead of letting them knock you down, use them as stepping stones. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth, a chance to learn more about yourself and your capabilities. Next, self-awareness plays a pivotal role. You've got to know yourself, your strengths and areas that need improvement. Don't be afraid to face your weaknesses. They're not there to hold you back, but to spur you into becoming a better version of yourself. Practice self-compassion. Be gentle with yourself when things don't go as planned. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Let go of the need for perfection. It's okay to make mistakes. They're part of the learning process. Chapter 24. Fostering mindful communication. In the realm of personal growth, mindful communication stands out as a key skill to nurture. The power of mindful communication lies in its ability to foster understanding, build trust, and create a foundation for genuine, meaningful relationships. As you aim to become a more mindful communicator, remember that it's not just about what you say, but how you say it. Your tone, body language, and even silence can speak volumes. Make certain to be present in every conversation, not just physically but mentally too. Don't let your thoughts wander. Listen to understand, not just to reply. This is your first step towards mindful communication. Next, empathetic listening. This involves putting yourself in the other person's shoes. It's about understanding their perspective and emotions without judgment. Remember, you don't have to agree with them to empathize with them. This practice not only enhances your relationships, but also fosters self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Lastly, practice self-control. You don't always need to respond immediately. Sometimes a pause for reflection can lead to a more thoughtful and effective response. This is where the power of no explanation comes in. You're allowed to leave quietly, without complaints or explanations. This doesn't mean you're ignoring the other person. Rather, you're choosing your battles wisely. In this journey of fostering mindful communication, be patient with yourself. It's a process, not a destination. You'll stumble, but remember, each setback is a setup for a comeback. Keep going, you're doing great. Embracing the power of no explanation is liberating. It's like walking on a serene beach, each step affirming your self-worth, each wave echoing your unspoken boundaries. You're not running away, you're choosing peace. Remember, your energy is precious. Spend it wisely. By exiting quietly, you're not just avoiding confrontations, you're sculpting a healthier, more respectful self. So wave goodbye to needless explanations, embrace discretion, and watch your confidence bloom. It's time to welcome the tranquility of silence.